Hey, everybody. I'm Todd Jones, co-founder and co-CEO of Teton Gravity Research. Today, we're here talking with Jeremy Jones, who is the founder of Jones Snowboards, longtime big mountain snowboard legend and climate activist, as well as the founder of Protect Our Winters. How you doing, Jeremy?
I am doing awesome. We've had the best run of snow maybe all year. Had my biggest day ever yesterday, and another good day today. So, just want to say cheers to that, and nice to see you, brother Todd.
Cheers. Nice to see you as well.
A well-earned beer.
Mm, I'm going to rewind there for a second. You said your biggest day ever. So are you talking about the biggest day ever of your whole snowboard career?
Most vert, not the longest, but yeah, we have this thing, Crush It for Climate, in every March, or this is the second year of that, and at the heart of it, it's just going out and celebrating what we want to protect and doing new things. I've been like, I think I've had 4 new peaks this month, and so kind of getting out of the comfort zone, trying to break new personal barriers, and because it's the same ethos we need on the climate front. And really a great excuse to go have monster days in the mountains.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's for something that you do with all the Protect Our Winners athletes. I saw Carolyn Gleick going for the equivalent of climbing Mount Everest. So looks like people are having fun with it.
Yes, I mean that was incredible. 29,000 vert in 24 hours, 54 miles. So we did like 10,800 feet yesterday, 6 runs, and so we were a small cry from Caroline, but it was 100% POW. So and all, yeah. So it was a 10K of proper POW. So good day.
Nice. So, we want to talk a little bit of business. As an athlete, what made you decide to start Jones Snowboards?
So I started Jones Snowboards because I wasn't getting the product that I needed. Probably the biggest example would be split boards. At the time, split boarding was almost waning, and I had become really into it. It's when we started making the first foot powered film, which was deeper, and I wasn't. Yeah, I just knew there was so much room for improvement on split boards and general freeride shapes. That was a time when rocker was coming in, and there's some great stuff going on in skiing and snowboarding, and I just really wanted. I was kind of sick of like hard selling ideas, and had been snowboarding for a long time and figured out how to start my own company.
I mean, that's great. I think there's, as someone who's deeply involved in climate activism and protecting the outdoors, there's a lot that Jones Snowboards has allowed you to do. One of those things I've always heard you talk about is materials, and being able to source and design and try and bring new environmentally friendly materials to the industry. I'd love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, the benefit of like I'd been a sponsored athlete for a long time, seen the insides of many companies, and when you can start from scratch, it's like, what's the optimal way to build a company? So like we were 1% for the planet, so 1% of our profits of overall sales, and we give back to environmental initiatives. We have a Jones Rainforest. We support Protect Our Winters. Another facet is sustainable manufacturing, and that's a journey we've been on since day one, and we continue to really. It's a journey that will never end, and I'd say the big step that we've taken recently is we have a really detailed account of the carbon footprint of every material in the board, the shipping of the board, the manufacturing of the board. So literally I can look at these pie charts and like try to see where the big CO2 slices are and attack those. So we've done a great job we've just embraced every sustainable material we can find. We prototype a ton, and that's really fun stuff, is the manufacturing stuff, both from a sustainability perspective, a durability perspective, and a performance perspective.
Now, is that when you find these materials, or develop them? I don't know how deep you've gone. Is that something that you're patenting and trying to lock up, or is that something that you're willing to share with your competitors and trying to push out and get them to have access to more sustainable materials?
Yeah, we're definitely not trying to like be secretive or patenting any of it. I mean, we want all the boards to have less of an environmental impact, and so yeah, if we can help someone out there, then we do. And I think it's a huge thing where we collectively as an industry will get, like an example would be resin. We have this bio resin, and it's not just because of us that we have this bio resin. I know Burton uses it, and these other companies are going, hey, if you spend the time to develop bio resin, you'll have a bunch of customers. And so these these kind of forward thinking material manufacturers are, they know they'll have clientele in the ski and snowboard industry, so we collectively all need to be pushing on the suppliers.
That's really cool. Well, it must be rewarding for you, because as an athlete, I know the brands you've worked with over the years have been incredibly supportive and supported your career. But to actually be at the helm and to be able to control all those decisions and decide to give 1% to the planet, really taking matters into your own hands. I think that's really impressive, and it must be really fun for you as well.
Yeah, it's awesome again to just be like, I think of myself as like setting the compass and everyone following, and I can do that pretty efficiently. And I mean, I've also gained inspiration from the work at TGR. So I think we've both been able to help shape and define what we think is a cool company. And it's not just about cool logos or what have you. It's a cool company, really thinks about all facets of the business, and tries to evolve and do less impact, and just really go to this new way of doing business that I think collectively, again, we're seeing a lot of that in the outdoor space, and we need to keep going.
Yeah, and I know, one of your, favorite quotes of mine is, to get people to fight for the outdoors and to want to protect it, you got to get them out there and help them, and get them to experience it and enjoy it. And I mean, Jones, everything you do and build is really to make a smoother experience in the outdoors. I mean, so that's, getting people to experience the incredible nature and things is really important. I mean, maybe just touch on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think like ski resorts have produced a lot of environmentalists, because I think as a kid, I started going to the lift and hopping on this lift and experiencing nature in this super dynamic, whole new way that totally consumed me and you and our other brother Steve, to where we're like, we want more of that. And then you start learning, you shape your life around that, and then you see like, wow, this nature that I've shaped my life around, like it needs protecting. So yes, you first got to fall in love with nature to then want to protect nature.
I think another big thing that, you've really led the charge on is using your voice, and using Jones's voice, not being afraid to lose a customer, to throw it out there, to speak for the environment and things that you believe in, and to push for better legislation. And I know that doesn't come easy. So, love to hear about that whole process.
Yeah. Um, I mean, it's just, to me, it's clean air, clean water, healthy planet. Who doesn't want that? I think we all want that. The sad part, due to a bunch of different reasons, is it has become this political issue, and that is, as an industry, we, I mean, it's all great. I mean, you walk around the shows, you see a bunch of organic this, recycled that. Everyone's, trying to reduce the impacts of their companies, but the reality is we're not going to recycle our way out of climate change. We need real deal policy to have large scale CO2 reduction. And so that's with Protect Our Winters, we try to rally the industry together to have this strong voice, what we call the outdoor state, that is 50 million people in just the US that recognize or identify as like this huge part of their life is the outdoors. And so we need to, we need to come together and say, we want leaders that want to protect the outdoors, clean air, clean water, healthy planet.
It's interesting. You brought up recycling, and something I learned at a Protect Our Winters summit was that while recycling is extremely important, it can also cause problems because a lot of people recycle and they think that, oh, they're cleaning their hands there. They're like, oh, I recycle, but that's not, it goes way past that. And I think that's kind of what you were touching on there.
Yeah, for sure. We not, again, I mean, even, yeah, the recycling deal, China won't take our water bottle. I mean, that's a whole different rabbit hole of the, of that. I'll stay out of that side of things. But yeah, we need to, we need to have, to bring it back to just climate and thinking about from a really simple perspective, we just need large scale CO2 reduction. And sadly, that has become a political issue. We all know the world of politics these days. And so yes, anyone on that has any strong opinion, you are going to get some flack for that.
Talk about some of the, I know you don't read your comments too much, but when you do post and speak your mind about the environment, you find a lot of hatred out there. What do you think's going on with that?
Well, I actually think there's just a lot of tension in general in the world right now, because I mean, there's like, my social media guy is like, he's brought me to terms. He's like, this whole, like, I posted something on face shots, and like, there's a bunch of people that got pissed off on whatever I said about face shots, which, by the way, there's no such thing as a bad one, but it was like, I prefer to have my face shots like right on my cheek so I can still see. And then, all the hockey stop face shot people just like went crazy, and I missed it all. But, I see that and I'm like, wow, people are just like edgy right now. And so that's on stupid stuff. This, the hard boot split boarders, like we know this is a TGR post. Sorry to go down this rabbit hole, but I think it's an important thing to understand just how on edge people are, and the way that people communicate on social media is just so lame. And so there was a post on TGR of like, finally, yeah, there's been splitboarding for a long time, but finally we have something that will allow us to really splitboard. And I was like, wow, I feel like we've been doing some pretty good riding in our soft boots. And it was a hard boot post, but anyways, that, just the littlest things will stir the pot, and then yes, you get into the full contact sport of politics, and it gets nasty fast, which is why I just don't go down that road, because my intentions are pure and they're rooted in science. So you got a problem with me, you got a problem with science.
Yeah, well, I do read your comments, and one of the comments that is always mind blowing to me is stick to snowboarding. And to me, that feels like oppression and asking you to not speak freely. And clearly, with your small business owner, you're the founder of a nonprofit that is very active, very educated, spends a ton of time doing that. So why don't you tell me about Protect Our Winters a little bit, why you started it and what it's kind of transitioned to in this day and age?
Yeah, so I would love to stick to snowboarding. Just to be clear, I could talk snowboard until I'm blue in the face. But the reality is, I was seeing changes to the mountains a while ago. It coincided with what the world scientific community is saying. We have the current path we are on, we have a problem. And so I was not looking to be like, wow, it'd be so cool to start a nonprofit. But I knew there was this issue of climate change that, the words I've never heard from a scientist is the issue's not as bad as we thought it was. And I was like, man, we collectively as an industry need to come together and fight climate change, because I love winter more than anything else in the world. And I'm seeing it change, and that's heartbreaking. And your business operates off of not just snow, but also, when there's forest fires, you can't go and shoot your mountain bike movies. I mean, it's very hard to avoid any of it. So, is again, as much as I'd love to stick to snowboarding, I'm seeing these significant changes to the mountains that coincide with what scientists are telling us, and that's how I started Protect Our Winters, or why I did.
So, POW has changed a lot from what you first started it as. And I think the goal is still the same, but the path that you guys undertake to get to that goal has dramatically changed. Do you want to talk about that shift and why you evolved into that space?
Yeah. So when I started again, I was like, no, we got an issue. Um, and I just reached out. I'm like, had to learn to be like, I'm going to just not be afraid of people saying no. I found the smartest people I could find uh, on climate, brought them together, and really, let them learn from these people to, what is our best foot forward. And when we first started, it was about changing light bulbs and personal footprint stuff, which I totally, we should all be on that journey and live an examined life and understand your footprint that you have on the planet. But as these experts, pretty quickly they came and they're like, we're not going to get there with just changing light bulbs and using reusable water bottles. We need, the way we get large scale CO2 reduction is through policy. So, pretty quickly, I'd say by year two, I'm on Capitol Hill in a suit, knocking on congressman doors. And that was definitely not my intention, but it's like that's the front lines of climate change. Is we need, serious policy change. We're subsidizing fossil fuels, and we need to be incentivizing, a sustainable energy future.
Well, and at POW, you always, right out of the gate, you started with athletes, and athletes were always super important to go to schools and spread the message. But social media has exploded the last 12 years, and your team has grown and expanded. I mean, talk about the POW ambassadors, how you find them, and how you get them to use their voice, and how much bigger the message becomes.
When I started POW, I'm like, I tried to talk myself out of it. And then I remember writing, together we can protect our winters. So from the get-go, I was like, come help. Like, I need, and so we've been trying to bring as people in from the get-go, and athletes have been a really strong part of POW out of the gate. And especially now in the social media world, it's like, I remember last time we were on Capitol Hill, we were meeting with a congressman, a Republican congressman, which we often go to try to find these kind of middle, moderates to get on board on this, or people that we can maybe sway to take a vote that we want. But his aide was in there with him, and he's like introducing us, and he's like, I did the math on social media followers of this group, and it's 30 million people of followers are sitting in this room right now. So as a congressman, you are getting you have an aide going, you better get in this meeting. And we've heard time and again, our access is incredibly strong at these, when we do that, because we carry a large weight. And it's found in social media through these outdoor heroes that are saying, to this younger demographic, you've got to care about the environment.
Yeah, and an evolution that I thought was really cool was, the original ambassadors were all winter sports based, but you've opened it up to the climbing community, mountain bike community, and I think that's really important. And
the trail runners, we were talking about it today on the skin track. Trail runners are punk rock, and they've been kicking ass on climate.
That's a good segue into the outdoor state. Can you tell me where that came from, and what it is and why it's important?
I guess to backtrack, one of the big little lifts we had to protect our winters is we did a economic report on just in New Hampshire, was the first one we did, on the difference between an average winter and a below average winter on the economy. And so we were able to really equate this as a jobs issue. If you can't spin the lifts, if the air is too smoky to ride your bikes, that just shuts down our communities. Our lifts are our coal mines. That's what, like, the ripple effects from running lifts is so huge. And so we've always gone in and framed the issue as this. It's an economic issue. It's a jobs issue. And so that is, and then to further that, it's how we came up with the outdoor state, and understanding and quantifying the outdoor industry is bigger than the extraction industry. It's bigger than the pharmaceutical industry. And those are two examples of like really powerful, strong industries that use their weight. If you were a congressman and you vote against the pharmaceutical industry or the extraction industry, you like hell is coming through your door. There is not a congressman on Capitol Hill that's afraid to cross the outdoor industry. And so that's why we're trying to rally this outdoor state around, again, clean air, clean water, healthy planet. And if you cross that line, if you're not doing everything you can to achieve that, then we're going to find someone in your job that will.
Rewind though and explain what you guys did in collectively bringing together all these different industries that weren't really unified, and bringing numbers that say these are all like-minded people that need the same thing.
Yeah, so it's been fun because we have expanded out. We've definitely, as you said, we've gotten out of just snow, but we've also with fishermen and hunters and just because they want the same stuff as us, they're super connected. And it depends, sadly, the world is so weighted on these swing states. But it's been really fun for me where through Protect Our Winters, I'm doing these panels with, a fisherman in Michigan or a hunter in South Carolina. And what's wild, you wouldn't think we would have the same, like that much in common, but we started talking about the outdoors. And we're like both, our worlds revolve around the same thing. We love getting out there, watching the sunrise. We love when everything lines up perfectly, and we both need, a healthy planet to do what we love to do.
And trail runners, massive group of people. They're the ones like, in the city, using the green space in the city. So that, and they love fresh air. They love waking up before
Well, they
work.
need it. I mean,
For,
it's, you cannot go for a run in forest fire choked air, or even, and not just that. I mean, um, it's just pollution and smog and stuff. I mean, you're cranking 50-mile runs out, like their lungs get torched if they don't have clean air. So there's this really clear, obvious kind of connection point.
and I know you're not a full statistician, but just big picture, what are some of the numbers now that you bring to Congress or Capitol Hill, with this unified outdoor state? I mean, they're really massive.
Well, to get into the not to get too into the weeds, and I don't want to get too political, but again, we all saw in these elections how much these swing states matter. So bringing in a bunch of new voters in these swing states, and God, at times, like, so we, we made a film last year with TGR, Purple Mountains, focused on these swing states. And there was a point in time where, the difference between like a climate denier in chief and someone that is, wants to kick ass on climate. Next thing we know, it's like all eyes are on Nevada, a couple thousand votes, where we made a film about that. And I'm watching it going, well, we did so much work in that state amongst these other ones, but I personally did a bunch in Nevada, and I'm like, man, this could come down to like a couple hundred votes. And it's an example. And in that film, to be clear, it's that film is about me going out and meeting with the classic outdoor state vibe, which is meeting with hunters. I go snowboarding with a hard rock miner who I met at a trailhead. He had a Friends of Coal sticker on his truck, and then pulled out a Jones solution. I'm like, I need to meet that guy. And I'm like, you're coming with me today? And he's like, really? I'm like, yes, I need to learn what you think of climate change. You're a split boarder. You're, have a connection to the coal industry. We need to talk. And so that resulted in this film, Purple Mountains. You can see it on YouTube, but it's really just an example of, like, when we're talking clean air, clean water with someone like that, and we're out in the mountains, like, of course, these people's lives are shaped around it. And then it's trying to understand their side of, why they're not, voting for these climate champions and stuff like that.
Well, I thought that film was really cool. Just in the sense that, you put yourself in uncomfortable places. You probably didn't want to have to make that film. You didn't want to go have to do those things, but you did. And I think that it's a compassionate approach to people talking. And, I wish that the environment wasn't such a bipartisan issue, because I think, we'd have all the votes we need for climate if it wasn't for everything else connected to it. Because there are so many people like that out there.
Yeah, it was wild too, like how hard, I was so exhausted after like going and talking to these climate deniers whose lives revolve around the outdoors and need clean air and clean water. Um, and yeah, so just getting out of the comfort zone. And I just think in general, like, just to go back to that social media stuff, is I've really, to reconcile with it, is understanding, like, when someone's like that hot under the collar and flared up on this stuff, it's like having empathy on that, like, why is that person so angry, and like, just understanding that. And we're in this weird time, and there's other films coming out that really break down the effects of what's going on these days. So I guess at the heart of it is, I don't I mean, I see a guy pulls up where with a big Trump flag, like, I am not going up to that guy and trying to get in a fight with him. I'm like, I'm going up to him and I want to talk to him. And I just kind of want to, feel his vibe and try to like sneak into like, wow, look at that sunset. Pretty nice. Huh? I just want to like try to find connection points, and just to understand, because we're in a very polarized world and we're in our tribes and it's just not super healthy and it's complex stuff.
That's good. I mean, a lot of the stuff you make isn't political. It's inspiring, and so a lot of what you do is extremely inspiring and trying to spread a much more positive message. And I agree. We're a very divided and angry country, but it seems like we're everyone's taking a little breath and relaxing a little bit. So it's there is hope in the future.
Hell yeah, hope's all we got, man. I'm always, I agree. And yeah, I think there's hopefully some deep breaths and, we just, yeah, we at least got to be civil with each other and not be screaming at each other, and understand what creates these different views. Like the feed on that other person's phone is different than mine, and it's trying to make them as pissed off at me as I can be, and vice versa. And it's a social dilemma.
So getting close to wrap things up here, just what advice do you have to young people, young entrepreneurs, or not even young, just new, that want to help protect the environment and run a responsible social and environmental business?
Well, the journey's the reward. You can't half-ass it. You gotta make it a part of your life. Like definitely with the athletes, we've seen it at Protect Our Winners. Like, yeah, a lot of athletes are cool. Yeah, I want to stand for more than just getting rad on a skis or snowboard or whatever it is. And like you do, I mean, it has to be a part of your life, as an individual, if you want to make that part of your life. Like people will, that's complex, it's nuanced. So getting educated is really important, and being true to yourself. Like it never works when like a pro athlete's, well, where the sponsor's like, hey man, we need you to like find a cause. And you got to find a cause that like matters deep in your soul, or it's not going to work. And then as far as companies go, um, we say at Jones, our tagline, journey is the reward. Like that's a never ending thing to try to just run a cleaner company and get better every year and always evolving. Stagnation is not an option, and just getting on that kind of knowledge spectrum, and just trying to level up, as you go.
Awesome. Well, Jeremy Jones, thank you for your time. Thank you for all your movies and inspiration. Thank you for your incredible equipment. And thank you for starting Protect Our Winners. Cheers.
Well, brother Todd, thank you for making the films. 25 years.
We're 26 years in now. So
Yeah. I've been in
quite
production with TGR for since the start. So we've done some great things. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for all the visual inspiration with the films, and look forward to sharing some turns with you.